Hey everyone, I'm Marlie Hall. Welcome to the show that covers the culture like no other. Joining us today, a panel of experts to give us their unfiltered opinions. We have political commentator Lola Adesioye, comedian Mike Brown, and Ariel Chambers, sports reporter and producer. Thank you so much for joining us. A number of trending topics to cover today, so let's get right into it. First up, it went down in Atlanta on the Oprah Winfrey soundstage at Tyler Perry Studios. Does it get any blacker than that? Yes, we're talking about last night's Democratic presidential debate, the one that I feel has been most relevant to Black people so far. Race was a big talking point, and the Black candidates scored major points while the frontrunners dropped the ball. Joe Biden was especially sloppy when it came to race, and Senator Kamala Harris did not let it slide. Here's a clip.
I come out of the Black community in terms of my support. If you notice, I have more people supporting me in the Black community that have announced for me because they know me. They know who I am. 3 former chairs of the Black Caucus, the only African-American woman that ever been elected to the United States Senate, a whole range of people.
No,
my point
that's not true. The other one is here.
Okay, and perhaps most surprising of all, Senator Cory Booker had a performance so strong that after the debate, he raised more money than any previous fundraising day. Take a look at this clip.
I have a lifetime of experience with Black voters. I've been one since I was 18. Nobody on this stage should need a focus group to hear from African-American voters. Black voters are pissed off, and they're worried. They're pissed off because the only time our issues seem to be really paid attention to by politicians is when people are looking for their vote. This week, I hear him literally say that I don't think we should legalize marijuana. I thought you might have been high when you said it. and let me tell you, because marijuana in our country is already legal for privileged people.
I never get tired of watching that. So Cory Booker came from behind to win the night. I'll be honest, I wasn't a fan of his at first, but Lola, you're the political expert. I feel like he really broke through. What did he do differently at last night's debate?
Well, I think he went for some kind of zingers, you know, some things to be memorable by, such as that comment about Biden being high. And he really tried to distinguish himself as like, I am the person that can talk to and about African-American issues. He kind of went after Pete Buttigieg a bit with, you know, well, what do you know? I know more kind of thing. But even so, if you look at some of the polling that's been done since, he's still a bit further down the line. Like Pete Buttigieg came out quite close to the top, Elizabeth Warren. So I don't know how much difference it's going to make in the long run. But it's good in the short term, at least for fundraising and at least for profile raising.
But he'll live to make it to another debate, though.
Oh, yeah.
And
sure.
that was a fear of his going in.
Yes.
Definitely.
Relatability is really big on everybody. So appealing to the people is what you want to do and getting the young vote out. And we all know how marijuana is amongst the I mean, if we're keeping it real, we all know how that is. And so he relates to the Black experience. He relates to the younger voters out there. And the key is going to get them out there, too, because at this point, we have to have anything that maintains hope and encouragement for the future.
And so speaking of keeping it real and the marijuana debate, do you think that that is an issue that can be a deciding factor for Black voters?
Maybe. I think that's not the only issue, but that definitely is an issue. I think that, white people have been just profiting off of marijuana the whole time. And, we're just trying to make some coins too. So we'll see what happens. But I'm still just like grasping with looking at Cory as like a real candidate. You know what I mean? Because from beginning, I'm like, man, he's shoveling snow. He ain't serious about shit. But now I'm like, I feel that he might be able to do something. I don't know.
This debate changed your mind.
The clips.
Precisely, the clips.
Debates are good for. The debates are good for people who are still trying to decide who they want. And I think a lot of people still are undecided. The thing about the marijuana is that for older voters, I don't think that is an issue. But obviously, there's a generational issue going into this election too. And I think that is actually where a lot of the, that's the difficulty, I think, in this campaign, is trying to actually play both sides, appeal to older folk and appeal to younger people as well. And I don't know if Cory Booker is the guy to do that, but I think it's good that his voice is still in the debate.
With the marijuana situation, going back to that, you see a lot of Black people locked up for this. Like,
Right.
and so if you legalize it, that is a big Black issue. We try to make it like it's not, but it is a big Black issue that we need to address. So maybe that will help the prison system in relations with Black people.
And you believe Biden's stance on marijuana will hurt him with Black voters?
It will. I mean, his clumsiness in general will hurt him with voters in general. So, like, if you can't even make it through a debate, I can't trust you to go to bat internationally with, speaking on behalf of me. No, too clumsy.
They haven't really wavered. People haven't wavered in their support for Biden so far, which is a little bit perplexing to people.
Right. He's still the front runner among Black voters.
Is it support or is it just like, we know you and we fuck
They
with you?
affiliate with Obama, so it's just like, that's Obama's homeboy, and we feel like Obama's our homeboy, so
You friends with my friend, you good with me. That's how I feel that Biden is. But the more that he speaks, you're like, I don't know if I should be his friend.
He makes gaffes all the time, but I don't know if it's people see it as malicious or just kind of like, oh, Uncle Joe, that's just kind of what he does.
Right, but speaking of gaffes, his biggest gaffe of the night was that statement, and I want to get it exactly right. He says he came out of the Black community.
Yes.
What does that even mean?
Well, he tried to, he tried to style it out. He tried to style it out with like, in terms of my polling. But basically, I think he's taking it for granted that African American people like him. And that's what I think he means. And also, of course, he's trying to draw on his relationship with the Obamas, which I understand too. And I think he has to be really careful with that, because I think Black voters were very suspicious about people who just think they're going to get our vote just because. And when you start making that kind of statement, it's like, okay, well, you really do think that you are kind of just our guy. And for that reason, I think some people might even be like, for that reason, I'm going to think twice about you.
Right, and I feel like this election really highlights the fact that the Black vote is so important. That's what every candidate is going for. It will make or break you.
Yep, 100%.
So,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just think that it's like one of those cases where it's like, I have a Black friend, so I can say this kind of thing, and that's what he was like aiming at. Like, no, I'm good with y'all because I got this one Black friend that's hold me down. No, you have to be like, he did it, sweetheart. Are you sure, sweetheart? Do you know our plight?
He didn't come out of the Black community. Like, he came into the Black community. You know what I mean? It's like before Barack Obama, I didn't know this like I didn't know him. He came to the community. He didn't come out of our community. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm sorry.
I mean,
I'm gonna start talking a lot of shit.
Don't apologize. So I can't understate the significance of the setting of this debate in Atlanta at the Tyler Perry Studios. I definitely came away with a clearer understanding of where many of the candidates stand on race, and that was important to me as a journalist and as a voter. But one thing that shouldn't be up for debate is the punishment for one racist teen in Illinois. Take a look at this, and I found this so sad. A white 14-year-old is accused of posting a picture of his Black classmate on Craigslist with the caption, look at this, slave for sale. The situation outraged many people, including this Black parent. Listen to what she had to say.
I believe they should start talking about the real issues, how it's important that we not keep having these same situations, because in 2019, we're still dealing with this. And that's absolutely unacceptable.
Unacceptable indeed. The victim's mother says her son was taunted by other classmates. She says students teased him by saying things like, I'll buy you for $1. The suspect is facing charges, including 2 counts of hate crimes and 1 count of disorderly conduct. But here's the kicker. He only received a 2-day suspension from school. So to me, this is bullying. It's a hate crime and actually attempted human trafficking, frankly. So Mike, how do you feel about how the school handled this?
Wow, I didn't know that was coming to me right now. I was ready. I was in the story. I feel that, right? I feel that they should have just expelled the dude. Like, I remember going to school and kids were just getting expelled for much less. Right. You selling slaves, nigga, now you gotta go after school. What are we 2 days? 2 days? Are you fucking kidding me? I can curse, right?
Yes, please.
Sorry.
I mean,
are you
what are we doing?
2 days? 2 days? No, kick him out the school. He doesn't need to be here anymore. Like, what are we doing? Like, that should be, it's if the roles were reversed and it was a black dude who put up a picture of, let's say, a woman or a white man or something and said some derogatory thing for sale, he'd be out of here.
Out.
He'd probably be in prison.
Out.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't make sense to say, okay, for 2 days you can chill out. Nah, get the fuck out of school.
But the interesting thing is that Gen Z is known as the most racially diverse and tolerant generation. Why are we seeing such an uptick in racist incidents among our youth?
Well, this kid is 14 years old. So my question is, what's going on in the household? Because this doesn't just pop out of, anywhere, out of thin air. So yeah, the generation overall perhaps might be more liberal and woke and so, but their parents aren't necessarily. We don't know what kind of conversations they're having at home. And let's face it, the whole country isn't that liberal and that, woke. There are areas where people are not that way, clearly, as we're seeing. So, yeah, the kids should have been expelled, but I think the hate crime thing, if that goes through, is a big lesson. 2 days is not enough. And quite frankly, it's just disgusting. Like, this is
really is
old. Like, people have to find a way to move on. But yeah, it's bullying and it's completely unacceptable.
Absolutely. But let's talk about Craigslist, though. I mean, this posting was there for days before it was taken down, and still no statement from Craigslist.
I will say, the only good thing that came out of Naperville, Illinois is that Candace Parker. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. No, but you do see this, I think platforms online that are accessible and free to the public need to be monitored more closely. We see this problematic situation with Facebook as well. As far as Naperville, Illinois in itself, it's been facing a lot of backlash between Buffalo Wild Wings, and now we have this incident. And it is regional, where they just are in the Midwest, and you see it enabled by the Trump administration. Like, you just see this whole white power trip thing going on, and white people aren't being properly punished. So why not do it? 2 day suspension, he gets a vacation. That's a vacation. Right. You won't really understand what you're doing until you're properly punished. And there are no consequences for this. It's going to keep happening. You know that you have that privilege, and we need to go beyond this and punish them beyond this, because what are we teaching our kids? Because if the roles were switched, what's going to happen?
It would be a different story.
It would be a completely different story.
Well, I know from my years of reporting that Craigslist can be like the wild, wild west for trafficking. I think the platform definitely needs to clean up its act. And personally, I have hope that the most diverse generation of young people can be the most racially tolerant as well. Well, up next, Ready, Set, Shop. More to come on the nationwide movement that's giving Black Friday a whole new meaning. And these little girls are killing the game, and I don't mean on the playground. We'll get into it after the break. Welcome back. The holiday shopping season is right around the corner, and Black-owned businesses are kicking it off with Shop Black Week. It's a nationwide movement to bring attention to Black businesses in the week leading up to Black Friday. Nearly 150 businesses across the U.S. have signed up for the event, offering deals on everything from clothes to home loans. Black buying power is at $1.3 trillion. That's a lot of wealth that can be kept within the community. So let's state the obvious. Supporting Black businesses is very important. So how can a movement like this provide a boost for Black economy?
Well, we need to keep money within our communities, and we spend a lot of money outside of our community, and it's important that we support Black businesses. It's just that simple. Whether it's a coffee shop, whether it's a dressmaker, there are all sorts of Black businesses. We know that Black female entrepreneurship is at an all-time high. We are entrepreneurial people, and that's what we need to do, and we need to do it all the time, as much as possible.
So, Mike, I know there's going to be some people who are like, is there a Black company that makes an iPhone? Because that's what I want for Christmas. So, I mean, can we get people to really do this?
Yeah. Next question. No, we can. I think it becomes a mindset of knowing which Black businesses sell what, right? Because it's like you might want an iPhone, but Apple makes the iPhone. I'm sure that there's a Black-owned phone manufacturing company that you can do.
Yeah,
but maybe if you can't get the phone, go to a black company and get a phone case. You know what I mean? Just meet us halfway. You know what I mean? And also, as I say this, I'm also saying this to the white viewers who might be watching it. You still can buy black too. Just support some black people. I'm sorry.
That's right. It's for everybody.
Yeah, it's for everybody. I mean, we'll take your money. You know what I mean? But support black business.
So, Ari, do you have some favorite black businesses you like to support?
Well, my cousin Travis Jackson, he started HBCU Pride Nation, and he sells HBCU clothing, which, I mean, I don't think that white people would be able, I mean, no shade to any of the white people.
And I didn't know that before I asked you that question.
Yeah, no, convenience. Hello, shameless plug. Yeah, Travis Jackson, he started HBCU Pride Nation, so it was one of one at the time. So, you know, you don't get to see black colleges be promoted like that very often. So that's one of the things that is like niche, and it's very impactful for that industry. But we spend all this money on Popeye's chicken, all of it. Imagine like the power of black Twitter or just black people in general, if they can just channel those coins to, you know, something else. Even like supporting your favorite black authors. I love Alex L. She's a great poet, and I buy her books like once a year, even though they're the same books. I have her books over and over. But like, you have to support because you want to see your people succeed. I want to see my queens and my kings just be up there and be able to compete financially with the wealth of white people. That just is what it is.
Now, with Instagram and being able to buy online, you know, even if you don't know your local black businesses, there are black businesses available online that you can find right now this second.
Oh, yes.
And so it's easy to, you know, give our money to keep it in the black community. I have a plug too for a friend of mine. His name is Chris Collins. He has a fragrance line. It's beautiful. It's at Bergdorf's. And black owned and very sexy, wonderful scents. So World of Chris Collins perfume.
Love that. And I think a lot of times we try to equate black as lesser than, which is something that we need to like question ourselves. Like, why do we not think it's going to be of quality? Like what I have on now, I mean, I don't want to plug everybody, but like, no, Rhonda Lynette Design, she's from Raleigh. She made my jumpsuit handmade. And it's just like, why not get the quality you need? It'll be able to last me longer. Yeah. And I know plenty of people that are on that same grind that just, you know, put their heart and soul into it and their finances, because frankly, we don't have the generational wealth to just have like a $2 million loan from daddy. That doesn't happen, right? So we need to invest our dollars into the people that, you know, look like us, so then our kids can come up and know that they can still do that, and like they can pursue what they want to do and get wealth from that too.
Right. Yeah, Mike, do you have a black business you'd like to promote?
I do actually. There's this really, really great writer that I know who sells the scripts. His name is Mike Brown. Please support Mike Brown, everybody out there. He's really great. He's a really great writer. He's incredible. He's incredible. Yeah, check him out.
Once again, Shop Black Week starts tomorrow, November 22nd, and will end the 29th. And this year, I'm challenging myself to buy all my holiday gifts from black retailers. I'll let you know how it goes. So, okay, is it just me, or has this been the year of the female rapper? There's Meg Thee Stallion, Rico Nasty, Saweetie, and Cardi B continue to reign as well. But have you heard of Zaza and that girl Lele? Here's their new single, That's a No-No. Listen to it.
That's a no-no. That's a no-no. No, you can't get no promo.
That's catchy. So Zaza is just 4 years old, and that girl Lele is 12, but she signed a record deal at 11, making her the youngest female rapper to ever be signed. In 2 days, the video has racked up over 300,000 views. So I love that video because they're just so darn cute. So is there a music video that you always wanted to be in as a kid?
I want to be in all the music videos. No, because the thing is, growing up in the UK, all we had was like MTV. We had MTV, and then MTV Base is where they showed like all the black videos. So that's where you saw like Puffy and everybody, and you know, it always looked like fun. And they're on a yacht in Miami, and I was like, I could do that. And then you know, I used to dance, so you see the ones with the dance. It's like, oh, I could do that too. So it's still on my bucket list. Yeah.
Right, I could do a yacht in Miami right about now.
Exactly.
That sounds good.
I wanted to be in 50 Cent's candy shop because I love Olivia's latex suit. But like, I'm not gonna lie, but like I loved Katy Albert. She was like my idol growing up, and I don't know. She was in Avant's. No, she wasn't. She was in Karma. Lloyd Banks, Karma, and I was like, I want to be like her. I don't know. I had to let you know that because I really had.
outfit.
I loved Katy Albert and I loved Olivia in that 50 Cent video.
In the 90s, you know, we had TLC and then Lauryn
Come
Hill
on, Left
and
Eye
Brandy,
Yeah.
and so those, you know, it was like everything looked dope.
Yeah. So, Mike, you've had some time to think. Tell me.
Probably the Biggie One More Chance video. It looked like a fun house party. It was really, it looked like a fun time.
They had fun.
They had
Yeah.
fun. They had a lot of fun at that party. And everybody was there. Total was there. Mary was there.
Yo, everybody was in everybody else's music video in the 90s. Like, everybody was in everybody's video.
That was a vibe. I wouldn't want to be there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, my turn.
Okay,
Yes.
where-
Will Smith, Summertime.
Oh, yeah. I can see you in that.
You can see me there? Yes, the Miami vibe.
Come on, Miami.
Yeah, it just looked like an amazing party, and I wish I was there right now.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Music video.
I'm here for it.
Exactly. The four of us. So Zaza and that girl Lele have over 2 million followers on Instagram combined, and I won't say any names, but I think the older generation of female MCs could learn a thing or two from them. So that's all for today. I want to thank my guests, Lola, Mike, and Ariel for joining us and sharing their candid commentary. And as always, thank you for watching. I'm Marlie. See you next time.